You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, it's graduation season. We'll hear the journey of one Pitt State student.
Also, St. Louis residents are picking up the pieces after a tornado rolls through last week.
And we have an alert day for our area today with thunderstorm chances increasing through the afternoon and severe thunderstorms likely. We'll break down the hazards and what you need to know coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner, just after 7 a.m. now on this Monday, May the 19th. And as mentioned, we have an alert day today, and we're going to break down those severe weather hazards for you in a moment. But a number of graduations taking place across the area.
Yes, Pittsburgh State University continued graduation ceremony Saturday at John Lance Arena.
KOAM's Mitch Adams has the details.
The work done by Pitt State students this semester has finally paid off. Addie Hinterweger graduated with not 1, but 2 degrees.
My journey's been incredible here. I came in as a freshman. I was, like Susan said, I was pretty scared and not sure what my path looked like exactly, but through my friends and mentors and professors, I kind of found my way.
Hinterweger said her college journey wasn't just about her education. It was also about finding herself along the way.
I used to kind of say no to things. I'd be afraid to take chances and risks, and through my journey here, my professors and other mentors have really encouraged me to say yes to things and, push my creativity and go beyond my comfort zone.
Being in Pittsburgh helped her find a sense of community and support as well.
The community and the college are so interconnected, and they're supportive of each other. You don't have a community like that in many other college towns in this area or even in the nation.
In Pittsburgh, Kansas, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
Classes will resume for Pittsburgh State's fall semester on August 18th.
Of course, the graduation from high school, college, doesn't matter. Always a big deal.
Absolutely.
Congrats to all of our area grads. Unfortunately, though, as we roll into this upcoming week, we are beginning with the threat for severe weather. Let's start with that look outside real quick, though, downtown Pittsburgh. So take a look. It's a bit hazy. You see a couple of clouds out there. The sun is shining. We had some storms early this morning. They are long gone from our area, and that's allowing the atmosphere to recover or essentially get more fuel for the storms later today. MoDOT camera 20th and range line. Also, if you look, you see it shaking a bit. We've got non-thunderstorm winds out there that will be gusting out of the south upwards of 30 miles an hour. Here's what we've got as it stands right now with our risk category. So for those of you, maybe you are just joining us here at 7 a.m., this looks different from yesterday because the outlook updated at about 1 o'clock this morning. And unfortunately, the severe threat's been increased for parts of our area and across eastern Oklahoma. So here's what we've got. We've got a level 4 out of 5 risk for the tornado category and for the hail category, both of them in the same highlighted areas here. And then we have our level 3 out of 5 for the wind. We also have these hatch marks across the entire viewing area for tornadoes and for hail. That's the significant category. So let's break down what we've got. For the hail, the significant category indicating the possibility of upwards of tennis ball size hail with these storms. Unfortunately, these hash marks indicate the possibility of strong tornadoes that would be EF2 or greater. Now, I want to also emphasize this is not saying that is exactly what's going to take place. It is simply saying that given the environment today, the energy available to the storms by this afternoon, they will be capable of producing this level of severe weather. So it's not a guarantee, but it's a possibility. Now, again, in the 4 out of 5, that's where those levels come in. The 4 out of 5 is a higher chance of that happening. Still not a guarantee. Just means in these zones, that's a higher chance of that happening. All of us, a 3 out of 5 for the wind, no hatch marks hatch areas, which is good, but we're still talking, even with the wind category, the possibility of damaging wind gusts 70, 80 miles an hour. Something that, again, the computer models since yesterday morning have been in disagreement about. Some say it will, some say it won't. We'll have to just kind of wait and see. We could get an isolated shower or storm by about 9, 10 o'clock this morning across parts of southeastern Kansas. If they develop, they could intensify rather quickly. But it's a big if they develop. Now, if they develop and there's many of them, that helps us later because that kind of sucks the energy out for storms later, which doesn't eliminate our severe threat, but makes it lower. But unfortunately, it looks like even if we see them, we're talking 1 or 2, so that's not really going to have an impact on our storm chances later. Once we get past noon, though, here it comes. Supercells, severe thunderstorms, all hazards possible, unfortunately beginning as kids get out of school and continuing through the evening commute and overnight tonight. So by late evening, we get another round of storms that could congeal into a line, which would increase the wind risk as it pushes to the east, but still, all hazards would still be possible. Then we get a break from about 11 o'clock tonight through 2 o'clock tomorrow morning. We get another round of slightly more isolated, strong, potentially severe storms. Winds out of the southeast, bringing in all that energy. We're into the mid-60s, even some upper 60s for many of us this morning. Our highs eventually up to 80, and those thunderstorm chances, the severe weather chances, increasing as we head through the afternoon and evening. We're going to break down all of these storm chances for you, rolling into tomorrow morning, discuss what happens after the storms here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, charges are brought against a McDonald County teacher for inappropriate relations with a student. The McDonald County Sheriff's Office was made aware that McDonald County High School teacher Joel Stark of Anderson, Missouri, allegedly had an ongoing sexual relationship with a past student from 2016 to 2018. The prosecutor filed second-degree statutory rape charges against Stark on Friday, and later a warrant for her arrest was issued. Stark turned herself in on Saturday. She later bonded out. Well, the McDonald County R1 School District released the following statement. Quote, upon receiving this information, the district immediately placed the teacher on administrative leave following standard policy and procedure. Now, the district says they are cooperating with law enforcement throughout the investigation. Well, a man is dead after a single vehicle crash in Newton County. Early Saturday morning, reports of a single vehicle crash near Granby, Missouri alerted 911. A Jeep Cherokee was traveling eastbound on US 60 and left the roadway to the right. The SUV overturned numerous times, ejecting the driver. The Jeep crashed on top of a car parked at a residence before landing on top of their pool. The driver, 28-year-old male from Diamond, Missouri, was pronounced deceased on the scene. Next of kin have been notified. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, storms made their way in the area yesterday afternoon at around 4:20 p.m. Cities in northwest Arkansas were hit with a major hailstorm. Now, this video is from Tonytown, Arkansas, and shows how intense the hail fell from the sky. Now, there are reports of hail damage to cars and electric poles, causing thousands of residents to lose power. One report shows a pile of hail that was measured at 17 inches. And violent storms stretched across the central U.S. Friday and Saturday, killing at least 25 people in Missouri and Kentucky. And more extreme weather is on the way. Jen Sullivan has the details on the destruction and the weather threat that remains for millions of people.
Hey man, it's a tornado, man.
The terrifying moments of a tornado tearing through this neighborhood in St. Louis caught on camera.
Come on. A whole roof just came off. So did.
The winds shredding the roof off of this home.
The windows blew out, the bricks started falling. I didn't think I was going to make it.
This storm, part of a violent system that spawned multiple tornadoes, carving out a path of destruction in several states Friday.
I'd estimate at least 100-mile-an-hour winds. They were very fast-moving storms.
Emergency responders in St. Louis still trying to rescue people trapped in their homes Saturday. The devastation seen on this man's face as he looks at the damage. Windows blown out of buildings, homes reduced to piles of bricks. A building crumbled around this car. Entire neighborhoods destroyed.
The devastation is truly tremendous.
That same system stretching into Kentucky, causing extensive damage and killing multiple people. Damn. Bolts of lightning igniting the night sky and revealing this tornado in the distance.
We gotta go.
All of the homes on this street in Laurel County splintered by the storms.
I got in the hallway and put my hands over everybody, and it started blowing the windows out.
The fierce winds and tornadoes knocking out power to thousands of people in multiple states, and the threat for severe weather continues.
This is part of a multi-day severe weather setup that we are currently in.
As the storm system loses strength, more than 20 million people in the Southwest are in the risk zone for more storms Saturday. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, we'll hear how you can keep your kids safe this summer. And later, Jonas returns to Broadway as an advocate for type 1 diabetes. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from Library Park in Neodesha, Kansas. Well, with summer just about here, that means more time will be spent outside. So what are the things that you can do to help keep your family safe this summer? Well, we have Dr. William Jones from Mercy Pittsburgh with us this morning to share a few tips to help keep your kids healthy this summer. Welcome to you, Doctor. Thank you for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course, happy to have you. So talk to me a little bit about this is your first time with us. So introduce yourself to the folks at home, letting us know about your just your journey to being a doctor.
Perfect. So I'm a pediatrician, so a doctor that specializes in care for children and caring for kids and adolescents. So I didn't know I wanted to be a doctor forever growing up, but in college I fell in love with sciences and found my way to medicine, and I always knew I wanted to work with kids. They're a ton of fun. And so that's how I fell in love with pediatrics.
Absolutely. Speaking of kids having fun, summer's just around the corner. It's almost here. Kids are getting out of school in a few short weeks. So talk to me a little bit about what parents, family members need to keep in mind for kids staying safe this summer.
Yes, summer can be hard for parents.
Okay.
You have to plan a lot, you're still having to work, but your kids don't have school, so you have to prep your day a lot better. So you want to do things and keep them involved. So if you can plan as much activities as possible, awesome, but also plan knowing that you can't just put them outside all day, every day. It's going to be hot.
Yes.
So part of that is making sure we stay hydrated, drinking plenty of water. But if we're also outside, going to the pool or just outside in general, make sure we have sunscreen on.
Right. So
and
important.
Yeah, good SPF 30 or above. Okay. And then anytime that we're in the summer, try to avoid doing screen time just to fill time.
Sure.
And if we're going to do screen time, be intentional with it. Try to make it, educational activities or activities that challenge kids' brains to think and do what they, want to learn. Just because we're not in summer doesn't mean we can't learn, can't think, and continue to grow our brain.
Absolutely. Very important. And speaking back to hydration and maybe getting proper nutrition too, I know ice cream and you're back at home and so it's not back on that regular schedule of school. What should parents keep in mind just to make sure that their kids are getting their proper nutrition?
Absolutely. Same thing, it's hard, but you got to prep. Just like we prep during the week, going, what meals am I going to make when I go to the market or to the to the store to buy groceries? Think the same way with snacks of going, hey, how can I do a healthy snack or a snack that's actually going to be more nutritious? Don't just open the bag of chips. But even so, if you're going to do that, smaller portion sizes of the bags or, the unhealthy things. Because we're going to have cookouts, have hot dogs, hamburgers, not things that are necessarily super healthy for us, but make sure we always have the fruits, the vegetables, those options there, and always putting them on the plate. There's picky eaters and they might refuse it, but always encouraging them to say, hey, take a bite. We got to do, have a little bit here and there.
Absolutely. Keep it fun, but keep it balanced. Well, those are some fantastic tips. Thank you so much, Doctor, for being with us this morning. We'll, of course, have all of those tips on our website later on this morning, KOAMnewsnow.com. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:18 now on this Monday morning. It's been a busy morning, keeping an eye on things. I was just looking just now at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. I don't have an opportunity to bring it up. I will try to. We are starting to see some showers in parts of what looks like Lynn County in southeast Kansas, so up here. We talked about this. I'm going to talk about it, and we'll take a look at these showers as we proceed through this forecast. Let's get on with what we've got right now. This forecast updated at 1 o'clock this morning. It's slated to update again at about 8 a.m. But what happened overnight is there's been an increase in the severe threat. We have a level 4 out of 5 risk under the tornado and hail categories. Now, this level 4 out of 5 stretches across most of eastern Oklahoma, and then we are in the northeastern fringes of it. So it does include some of the southern halves of some of our counties in southeast Kansas. It is all of northeast Oklahoma, all of Newton, McDonald, and Benton counties, parts of Berry and Jasper counties as well, for both hail and the tornado categories. We also have these hatch marks out there, which indicates the potential for significant severe weather with those categories. So for the hail, we're talking the potential for tennis ball size hail across the region. And unfortunately, the hatch marks with the tornado risk category indicate the possibility of strong tornadoes that would be EF2 or greater. Now, what we discussed earlier, and I want to emphasize again, these are not guarantees that every storm we see is going to produce tennis ball size hail. It is not a guarantee that every storm we see is going to produce a strong tornado. It is simply telling us now that that is a possibility. The storms that develop will be in an environment that would support them being able to do that. It doesn't mean every single one that we see will do that. In fact, we may not reach that extreme level of severe as we roll through the afternoon, but it is a possibility that we have to keep a very close eye on. Then we head to the wind side. Thankfully, no hatch marks here, but we have a level 3 out of 5 risk across the entire region, and we're talking winds that'll be 70 to 80 miles an hour. So let's talk about what's happening right now. Again, it's on the Skywatch Storm Tracker on another one of our other weather computers that I can see here. This is a possibility, which again, looking at what we're seeing right now, we have to wait and see what exactly happens, but we could see a couple of isolated showers or storms, primarily into southeast Kansas by about mid-morning. If these materialize, and again, what we're looking at right now on the radar, there's no guarantee it'll do much more than what it is now, which it isn't much at this point. If these materialize, they could intensify and become strong, possibly severe. Now, if we were to see several of these, that helps us later this afternoon by eating up some of that energy and reducing our severe threat, not eliminating it, but reducing it by this afternoon. If we only get 1 or 2 of these storms, it doesn't do really much for eating up that energy, and we still are looking at this mess rolling into the afternoon. Talking supercells, numerous severe thunderstorms, increasing in coverage by about 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon. Again, right as kids are getting off the bus, schools are letting out. So schools, I know you are paying close attention to this weather today, so make sure you're paying very close attention rolling through the afternoon. These storms continue pushing to the east. It's a bit messy, but we are still talking severe thunderstorms with all hazards out there across the eastern 2/3 of our area. Then by about 6, 7, we get a second round of storms. Now this second round, especially this part back to the west, near Yates Center, stretching in through Greenwood, Elk, and Chautauqua counties, it could form into a line as it rolls to the east, which would increase the wind risk. Now, it doesn't decrease, unfortunately, the other threats significantly. All hazards are still possible, but it would increase the wind risk. That would become the greater concern. Then between about 11 p.m. and 2 a.m., we get a pause before we see additional isolated to widely scattered showers and storms. Some of these could be strong, possibly severe as well, through about 7 a.m. And then finally, by Tuesday into the afternoon, we're finally done. And we'll get an opportunity to dry out and clear out. A reminder as well, we have flood watches for the counties in dark green through tomorrow morning. So if you know your route takes you through a flood-prone area, keep that in mind, that we could deal with some flooding with some of this heavy rain. Again, our alert day today through tonight, we'll have partly cloudy skies as we're seeing now. Low 70s out there, upper 70s by 11 this morning. We'll keep an eye on these thunderstorms that are developing out in the northwestern or north central Linn County. Just getting some related radar scans in. We're going to get to those storms here in the next weather update. Near 80 today, low to mid 70s tomorrow, low 70s through Thursday. Warmer weather back into the weekend with more storm chances Sunday and Monday. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this. Well, musician Nick Jonas has returned to the Broadway stage, bringing with it a set of challenges for his type 1 diabetes.
According to the CDC, around 1.7 million adults aged 20 or older are living with type 1 diabetes as of 2021. Julianne Ferreira has the story from New York.
Nick Jonas is back on stage, taking on the role of Jamie in the Broadway production of the last 5 years.
It's really liberating. There's no place where you get to combine all these things in one place, singing, dancing, acting, and storytelling in the way that you can on the Broadway stage.
Jonas is a leading man managing the physical toll of 8 shows a week, along with type 1 diabetes. He learned his diagnosis at age 13, around the time he and siblings Joe and Kevin formed the Jonas Brothers.
I come in, I think, with a real focus and sense of understanding of the importance of any project because of the amount of times I have to make real-time decisions while living with this disease. Often categorized as a manageable disease, and with the right management of it, it can be, but it can also be incredibly difficult, and for a lot of people it is.
Jonas has been outspoken about his type 1 diabetes over the course of his career, even penning the song a little bit longer about his diagnosis.
He invited Dexcom warriors to a special viewing of his Broadway show. Like Jonas, these aspiring performers need to wear a continuous glucose monitoring system.
I think opportunities where we actually get to have that face-to-face interaction and feel a part of something and feel like we're not alone in that, as powerful as social media is and has become, can't beat that human connection.
The 32-year-old doesn't hide his wearable device on stage.
It's a normal thing, and there's so many diabetics out there who wear their devices proudly, and he's one of those people, and I think that's awesome.
He was super transparent, he was honest, he was caring, he felt like a real human, and as someone who grew up watching him, I was truly inspired.
Jonas continues to live his dreams under the bright lights, while showing others with diabetes the disease doesn't have to define them.
Well, Nick Jonas's next venture is the Jonas Brothers Living the Dream Tour, kicking off at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey on August 10th.
Very exciting. Great representation there. Well, coming up, the 5th annual Shed Farm Festival provides 4-staters a chance to learn how to homestead.
And we have an alert date today for the potential for significant severe weather. We'll have another look at your forecast when we come back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOA Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:31. I'm Elise Snowy. Well, the 5th annual Shed Farm Homestead Festival took place on Saturday. For those looking to understand what it was like to live in the 1800s or even how to live sustainably now, the festival provides educational programs alongside all those fun activities. People had the opportunity to learn how to milk cows, weave on a loom, and learn about greenhouse production.
We hope that everyone will realize that the sustainable lifestyle, gardening, animal care, is part of what our history of this country was for years and years. And we hope that we're encouraging people to get back to that kind of lifestyle.
Now, the price of admission for Saturday was $5. And as school comes to a close and the summer begins, many organizations are trying to kick off summer in the right way. Precious Moments in Carthage is doing just that with their summer kickoff event. There was a little bit of something for everyone, including face painting, figuring, signing, and live sculpture demonstrations.
We're here. We're still going strong, carrying on Mr. Butcher's legacy here of his mission to have a beautiful place here in our community, as well as his last figurine that was just released, Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus, and keeping that message out in our community.
And those who attended also had the opportunity to have their picture taken with Timmy the Angel. Now let's head over to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
We are going to start with the Skywatch storm tracker. As we discussed in our last weather update, we saw just a couple of little showers out there in Lynn County. But as you can see in the last few minutes, so this is going back by about 20 minutes now. What started as a couple of showers, we are seeing some rapid thunderstorm development. Nothing strong, nothing severe, but starting to get some heavy rain around Mound City, stretching into the wet now with this new cell developing in the western portions of Bourbon County. Another one north of the Erie area, another little shower north of Girard, a couple of stray showers in Newata County, and then another one stretching back south of Skiatook near Tulsa. All of it part of this boundary right here. You can follow the line right stretching up from around Kansas City all the way down to Tulsa. So these thunderstorms were not on any of the model data for this morning. They do not match up with what we talked about, as well as that possibility of some thunderstorm development in southeast Kansas. But again, the environment is already set up for the potential for severe thunderstorms. So we've got to see what these do. If these become more widespread, the same rule applies that we discussed earlier as well. While these could intensify and get a little nasty, they would help eat up some of the energy out there and reduce our severe threat this afternoon. But again, it's not looking very likely, but it is something we're going to want to monitor. As it stands right now, we do have a level 4 out of 5 risk for tornadoes and hail in the southern half of our area. Everyone else level 3 out of 5, but we also have the hatch marks for both of those categories across the entire area, which indicates the possibility of tennis ball size hail and strong tornadoes, EF2 or greater. It is not a guarantee that is exactly what's going to happen. This is simply saying that that chance exists. With the way the atmosphere is set up, these storms will have that potential to reach that level of severity. Not a guarantee, but it is unfortunately something we have to monitor. We have a level 3 out of 5 risk across the entire region for damaging wind gusts, 70 to 80 miles an hour as well. So this is what I was talking about. What we just looked at on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, it is not on the future track that we've been showing you this morning. We just have those cells. So we've got to watch what these storms this morning do. Regardless, our severe threat rapidly ramps up into the afternoon. After about noon, 1 o'clock, supercells, severe thunderstorms, all hazards possible as kids are getting off the bus and continuing to spread across the area as we're heading out on that evening commute. So parents, make sure you're paying attention if school districts decide to maybe release early or if the students need to stay where they are for a little longer. And then as you're commuting as well, keep that in mind. We're still dealing with messy storms, but severe storms, and they will continue with multiple rounds through the evening and overnight hours as well, even into tomorrow morning. We're going to continue to watch these storms developing out west, and we'll have another look at your forecast, break down all of our thunderstorm chances here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Chris, thanks. I'll stick around. We'll be right back. But before we head to break, here's a live look from Library Park. In Consumer Watch, Americans may be spending their summer vacations differently this year. A Wall Street Journal report says Americans are planning to take shorter trips this summer. The report cites data from Deloitte that found 41% of Americans say their vacation will consist of 3 nights or fewer, up 4% from last year. A separate survey found 40% of participants will likely take a vacation in the next 6 months, and that's down more than 44% from a year ago. Roughly 12% of Americans say they made changes to their vacation plans thanks to tariffs. President Trump says trade deals still need to be made with 150 different countries, and if they don't come to the table soon, the White House will set the rate for them. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has the details.
150 countries that want to make a deal, but you're not able to see that many countries.
After spending the week in the Middle East signing deals, President Trump says other countries are running out of time. Soon, the White House trade team will set new tariff rates for them, leaving the door open to renegotiating later.
It would be very fair, but we'll be telling people what they'll be paying to do business in the United States.
Under the current tariffs, American companies are starting to feel the pinch. Even the world's largest retailer, Walmart, says it will start raising prices. But small businesses say they're the ones feeling the brunt of the White House's trade policy.
Small businesses matter, and the ripple effects of national policy decisions often land hardest on those trying to make an honest living at the local level.
One Democratic senator plans to introduce a bill to exempt small businesses from the tariffs.
This administration's yo-yo tariff policies have changed more than 50 times since he took office. Businesses are hesitant to place orders not knowing what tariffs will be weeks or months from now.
On paper, the U.S. economy appears to be holding strong, but the University of Michigan's Index of Consumer Sentiment shows Americans feel worse about the economy for the 5th straight month. President Trump says they will start to notify countries of their new tariff rates in the next 2 to 3 weeks. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 7:43 now. Take a look at these storms. Now, they're not strong. They are not severe, but they have developed rapidly within the last 20 to 30 minutes. So if we back this up, I want to zoom in and just give you an example as how quickly they develop. So we're just focusing on Bourbon County on this particular line. At 7:20 this morning, there wasn't anything. And in the last 23 minutes, you can see we've got a growing thunderstorm out there that's attached to this one that we first spotted up in Lynn County. And it's all part of this bigger line that's stretching from north central Missouri all the way down to the Tulsa metro area, where those showers are intensifying as well. A few other spotty showers, southern Washington County, parts of Newada County, stretching into parts of southwestern Labette County. And then we have this other cell now that was, again, just a little shower north of Girard just a few minutes ago, and it's now lifting northwest of Arcadia. Again, nothing severe, nothing strong with these storms, but this is the indication as to the atmosphere that we have in place. This is what we've talked about. The fuel for these storms is here, and any storm that develops will be in an environment that is suitable for it to intensify, which is why we have to watch it very closely. So here's what we're looking at in terms of our severe risks as it stands right now. We have a level 4 out of 5 risk under the tornado category and the hail category in the southern half of our area. That includes parts of our counties into southeastern Kansas, so the southern halves of Chautauqua, Montgomery, Labette, and Cherokee counties, the southern half of Jasper County, all of northeast Oklahoma, all of Newton, McDonald, Benton counties, and the western half of Berry County. These two risks, though, are the same size, same shape out there. Then we have these hatch marks indicating the possibility of significant severe weather. So what this indicates is with the hail risk, we're talking potentially tennis ball size hail. And with the tornado risk, that unfortunately does also mean the potential for strong tornadoes, EF2 or greater. Now, the emphasis to place on the whole thing, this is telling us the atmosphere will be supportive of storms producing these hazards. Does that mean every storm we see is going to produce these hazards? No. Will they be severe? Absolutely. Will they be at this level? Not all of them, no way. But it is a possibility that we have to watch closely. And then the entire area, again, under that level 3 out of 5 wind risk, no hatch marks, which is at this point a good thing for at least that, but we're still talking winds 70 to 80 miles an hour. So this is what we have to watch. This is what we've been talking about, honestly, for about a week and a half almost now, since this data was showing up that far out. That's the other sign that you knew that these storms were very likely to happen, because we've had data for almost a week and a half showing some kind of severe potential in our area for today, and here we are. Now, the future track, again, is not picking up on this line of storms that's developing right now. So we're going to have to just ignore what we're seeing here. What we want to focus on is what's going to happen as we roll into the afternoon. The storm's developing now. We're going to have to watch in the near term. But as we roll into the afternoon hours, say 1, 2 o'clock, take a look at the explosive thunderstorm development that's expected. Unfortunately, right about the time some kids are going to be getting out of school, especially in the southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. So parents, bear that in mind if you're going to pick up the kids. School districts, I know, are watching this, and I know some of our districts do release early for severe weather. So parents, you need to be prepared for that possibility as well. We'll otherwise have these storms rolling through, all hazards possible. They get messy, yes, but we are still dealing with that severe threat with all hazards possible. Then we get another round later this evening. This round could turn into a line of storms. All hazards are still possible, but it increases the wind risk with that line of storms as it rolls through. And then between about 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. tomorrow, we get a break. Then we see additional development as a possibility of more scattered, strong, potentially severe thunderstorms. These won't be as widespread, but what we do see will still be capable of becoming strong, possibly severe by early tomorrow morning. So as we're starting the next day, kids going back to school, you're starting your morning commute. Now the good news is by 6 or 7, those will be out of here. They're gone, and we'll have an opportunity to clear out heading into the afternoon. Also a reminder, flood watches the eastern half of our area through tomorrow tomorrow morning as well. So remember, turn around, don't drown, and just play it safe. Take a look at these thunderheads we can see from 7th and Rangeline on those storms that are developing out there. All right, low 70s to start, upper 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. Eventually our highs today about 80. Then we'll be in the low to mid 70s tomorrow. Low 70s, maybe upper 60s through Thursday. Warm weather returns heading into the weekend with more storm chances on Sunday and Monday. Of course, we'll continue to monitor the storms this morning and have the latest on our severe weather chances as we go through the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
From Farm to Table is taking on a new meaning in Southern California.
High school students are learning life lessons through farming. Danya Bacchus explains.
On this farm in Lake Hughes, California, about 80 miles north of Los Angeles,
Ginger, basil, microgreen.
dozens of high school students gather to see the juice.
This is the orange juicer right here.
Is worth the squeeze. They're part of the SoCal 4-H Envirothon program.
We call it Seed to Sell,
where they're learning more than agriculture. Restaurateur Georgette Powell is the visionary.
Well, the students that we're serving are mostly black and brown. We've experienced a lot of gun violence and the food desert.
And you have to come up with a bigger idea.
She sees the program as a catalyst to improve those circumstances. Each student is guided through the process of planting and harvesting.
This is just a 10 by 20 tray, right? Mm-hmm. And this takes 10 days to grow.
Then teams up with Barron's Microgreens to sell the produce and juices made with it at Los Angeles farmers markets.
I've never been to the farmers market.
Deontay Everett is a graduate of the program.
The more health benefits that you bring to the community, the better you're making your community. And so that's what helps me just get involved.
And those are the seeds program organizers are working to plant with students.
There's a process in everything, so it's kind of like, just like there's stages through, growing microgreens, growing plants. Farming. You really can't skip any steps in life.
They hope the lessons learned from farming.
Not just overnight, everything's gonna come to you.
Yeah, you have to work. You have to work hard, gain. You have to be disciplined and know what you want.
Will reap a harvest of opportunity.
Now, the Social 4-H Envirothon program also provides scholarship opportunities for students who attend college.
It has several partnerships with historically black colleges and universities. Certainly a unique program there for sure. We've got a unique situation developing this morning. Thunderstorms firing up along a boundary that stretches from north central Missouri back through eastern Oklahoma. We have storms along that line. It's a broken line, as you can see, but nonetheless, nothing strong, nothing severe, but here's the deal. They're in an environment where they could intensify if they can get organized, which they're trying. So down around Tulsa, Skiatook, stretching up around Newata through Newata County, we have this gap into parts of Labette and Neosho counties. And we go back up to the north. We have one little shower rolling into the southwestern part of Vernon County and then stretching up into parts of Bourbon and Lynn counties as well as northwestern Bates County. Nothing strong, nothing severe at this point, but as you can see, these storms have developed very rapidly across the area, and our severe weather outlook has updated in a less than pleasant fashion. I'll take just a moment here. As you can see, a level 4 out of 5 risk for all categories across the area. The wind risk has been significantly increased. So now we're talking winds 80 miles an hour or greater. The significant category means even higher than that. We still have the hail, and you can see our 4 out of 5 tornado risk has been expanded much further north, a good portion of the southern half of southeast Kansas, most of southwest Missouri and Oklahoma and Arkansas. So we are still talking about a significant severe weather situation as we roll through the late morning into the afternoon. We'll have another look at your forecast, news you need to know right after this.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Charges are brought against a McDonald County teacher, Joelle Stark of Anderson, Missouri, for inappropriate relations with a student. Stark allegedly had an ongoing sexual relationship with the past student from 2016 to 2018. The prosecutor filed second-degree statutory rape charges against Stark on Friday, and later a warrant for her arrest was issued. Stark turned herself in on Saturday. She has since bonded out. A man is dead after a single vehicle crash in Newton County. A Jeep Cherokee was traveling east on US 60 and left the road to the right. The SUV overturned numerous times, ejected the driver, and rolled over a parked car, then landed on top of an above-ground pool. The driver, a 28-year-old male from Diamond, Missouri, was pronounced dead at the scene. Well, cities in northwest Arkansas were hit with a major hailstorm. This video from Tonytown, Arkansas shows how intense the hail fell from the sky. Reports came in of hail damage to cars and electric poles, causing thousands of residents to lose power. One report shows a pile of hail that was measured at 17 inches. That's a look at today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
All right, so here's what we're looking at. We do have some showers and thunderstorms trying to develop along a boundary out there, which is, again, not showing up on our computer data, unfortunately. But we do need to watch it because the environment is favorable for them to intensify. Here's what we've got. We are looking at a significant severe weather event developing as we head into the afternoon across the area. As you can see, all of our hazards have been increased. We have a level 4 out of 5 risk for most hazards across most of the area, and those hatch marks indicating the possibility 80+ mile-an-hour winds, tennis ball size hail, and unfortunately the potential for strong tornadoes as well. We'll continue to track these storms this morning, and we'll be here through the afternoon as this severe weather event begins to unfold.
Yes, we will. Have a great rest of your morning.